Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. We are doing another mock draft today. We're going to do it on Yahoo, a PPR draft, 12-team, picking sixth. And I'm going to also show you what you need to do to my app to get the right list of players for a Yahoo draft. It's very important, especially if you are in a PPR draft on Yahoo. So here we go.
Listen up. It's time for the Fantasy Maverick podcast, starring the guy who's going to help you win that fantasy championship, Jimmy Maverick.
Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. And it is Friday, and it is one day before my drafts start. I am going to be very busy over the next 5 days. I've got 8 drafts happening starting on Saturday through the Wednesday before the season starts. So a lot of stuff's happening. I've been practicing like crazy, doing all these mock drafts, fine-tuning my app, making sure that you are in a position to succeed when you use it, and that you're going to know the absolute best players at each and every round of your draft, regardless of the size of your league and your draft position. Now, we are going to do a PPR mock today on Yahoo, and I'm going to show you just real quickly some things that you need to do on my app to make sure that you utilize it as well as possible. So I'm just going to minimize here, and you can see we're doing a mock draft. It starts in 2 minutes. Going to pick from the 6th position here, but we're going to go over to my app. So if you haven't done so already, please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. That's where you're going to find the app. You can access this app on any web-connected device. It's a web-based app, so it's not on the App Store or anything. You got to go to my website to get it and use it. And when you go into the app, it's got a quick setup. So it asks you 3 quick questions. How does your league score points? Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? And do you want to enter draft mode? So normally we would just choose the PPR. But the thing with Yahoo is that Yahoo only has one list of players. Most other sites have a list for the PPR, a list for standard, a list for half PPR, and they modify it depending on what your draft is. But in Yahoo, it's all the same. And I have a PPR draft happening in Yahoo next week. So to set it up, you need to do this. You just go in, do not select PPR here. Okay, we'll just select standard points. All right. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? No. And then do you want to enter draft mode? We're just going to skip that for right now. We're going to let it load in because I need to show you where to do this to get the Yahoo list when you're in PPR, when you're in a PPR league. So down here, here's the league point schedule. There's the PPR. You click on it, and it opens up 2 sub-choices. One is a Yahoo PPR draft, and one is all other PPR drafts. We want to select the Yahoo PPR draft because actually what you get there is the half-point PPR list with PPR values for all the players. And again, this is actually a huge advantage when you use my app because you're going to see the valuation differentials here because there's going to be players that are going to offer excellent value relative to their draft position because you're drafting on a PPR draft list. So anyway, we're now going to go ahead and we'll enter draft mode. So you can enter draft mode from here too. You just click on the draft mode thing, and we will do 12-team. Picking 6th. Let's go ahead and enter draft mode and see what it looks like. So you can see the draft's starting. We got 2.5 minutes till it goes. And what we're going to do 10 rounds, and we are going to heavily utilize the queue. And I highly recommend you do this, especially when you're using my app, because you're going to be switching between the draft board and the app. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pick our players off the app. We're going to go onto the board here. We're going to queue them up. Then we're going to go back to the app. We're going to find some more players. We're going to come back and we're going to queue it up. And that way, when it comes time to our pick, we're just going to pick our favorite off the queue. So let's start that right now. Let's just get the process started right now. So you can see here are your position filters. This is the draft mode filter. So this represents each round of the draft. We can just click on one for the first round pick. This is a recommendations thing. I like to minimize that so it just shows the names. And then down below, you've got all the players on the list. And what you're looking at here is all of our players between our first pick and our second pick. So our first pick is at number 6. Our second pick is at number 19. And so down here, you've got all the players from 6 to 19, plus a little overlap. A couple of players that'll probably be gone by the time it gets to us. Those are the long shots. And then the hands are the reaches. And these guys are going to be the long shots on the next round. So if it's a player that you really want, you need to take him early. And I think I already know what I'm going to do. So you can see that it's recommending Nick Chubb, Kenyon Drake, and Davante Adams with our first 3 picks. Now, Nick Chubb is a great choice, but in PPR, his value is not that great. I like him better as a second-round player. But because we're in Yahoo, he's probably going to go in the first round. He's not going to make it to our second pick. But right below him is someone that I very much like, Kenyon Drake, who is the perfect kind of running back for a PPR league. He is the kind of guy that's going to catch a ton of balls and get a lot of points that way. He's very valuable. Kenyon Drake is the 12th most valuable player on the board versus Nick Chubb, who's the 24th. You can see here on the draft board, they actually scored very closely on the Vork Score. This is how I rate my players. It's called Vork for value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. It's these 4 columns right here. Based on how they score on each of these key stats, they get points. Those points are added up. That's the Vork Score. And the players are sorted by the Vork Score instead of like their draft position. So all you need to do is just focus on the players at the top of the list. What I like to say is if they score more than 40 Vork points, they're a good choice for your fantasy team. Avoid the players that score less than 40 because there's problems. They're poor value. They got poor reliability. They're not good. They're not very consistent. They have a poor outlook. There's any number of reasons or combination of reasons that would have them score poorly. But I really like Kenyon Drake here. Derrick Henry also scores very well, and so he is also a good choice. And so I think either of those two would be good. But again, the one that catches balls is Kenyon Drake, and that's who we want on our team. We want every player on our team in a PPR league to be a prolific pass catcher. So I think that's the way we're going to go. So we got Kenyon Drake right here, and you can see we have, let's see here, there's Nick Chubb, and where is, let's see what's going on in the draft results. And someone already took Derrick Henry. Okay, so Derrick Henry is already off the board. But again, we are going to, and what we're going to do, no, we are going to take Drake. What we're going to do is we're going to use my top 50 Dominator strategy where we're going to try to get ourselves 6 top 50 value players in our first 6 picks. So we'll see if we're able to do it. So once we made our first pick, all we need to do is just jump back to the app, click on the second round, and you can see that it's recommending Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, and Chris Carson. Now, we can filter for just the running backs here, and you can see there's several good choices. Kenyon Drake he's the long shot. We already took him. Chris Carson is a reach, so he might be available as at our third-round pick. You got Austin Eckler, who's a long shot. He is also an excellent choice for a PPR league. And then you got guys, Todd Gurley, Aaron Jones, James Conner. These guys do not score over 40 Vork points, so they're not great options. But I like the idea of going with Eckler. We can put Eckler and Carson on the queue. And so if we just go to running backs, we can go to Eckler, and we can go to Carson. And you can see, let's see here, well, there's also like Josh Jacobs. If he makes it to us, Josh Jacobs scores very well. So let's put him on the queue. I'm staying away from Miles Sanders right now because of that injury issue. Aaron Jones I don't like. Connor I really don't like either. But those are all good choices. And we can also go and start putting some wide receivers on the queue as well. And so if we go on the second round, click on the wide receivers, there's a whole bunch here. Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay. Well, those are the two that score over 40. So let's put them on the queue as well. Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, those are great choices. And let's see here. Is there anybody else like, what about tight ends? Travis Kelce is also a good choice. He's a long shot to make it to us. Quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, not great choices in the second round. They don't offer enough value. But we can go and we can see what's going on the draft board here. I'm going to put it back to all players so we can see what's going on. Let's look at the draft results so far. So we've got Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and then us, we took Kenyon Drake. Then after us came Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon, and Austin Eckler. That was the first round. Second round starts up. We got Lamar Jackson, then Nick Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, and we got 2 more picks to us. So you can see Carson, Godwin, and Golladay are still all on the board. If we go back to the players, we can also look at the players here and see, Kelsey's still on the board. There's Sanders, Jones, Hopkins. There's some really good wide receivers still on the board. Actually Julio is also still on the board. We could see how he measures out here. So for Julio, if we restore him onto the board, Julio scores 59 Vork points. Value is 6th overall. That's really good. If he makes it to us, he did make it to us. I got to say, Carson he can make it to our next pick. I got to go with the value here. I got to take Julio Jones in a PPR league. That is outstanding that we got him at 19th. That is great value there. High reliability, 10 out of 10 consistency. His outlook's not as good. A 2-star outlook is not great. But for me, I consider that neutral. It's because he's over age 30 now. That's why he's got a deduction on his outlook. But he's playing at a very high plateau. And so there's just not a lot of upside. But we got great upside. We got great value on him by taking him in the second round. So let's go to the third round. So our third round's at pick number 30. And you can see that it's recommending Robert Woods, Calvin Ridley, and Le'Veon Bell. If we look at the running backs, as we saw, Chris Carson is a long shot to make it to us. Le'Veon Bell has not scored 40 Vork points. That's a problem there. And so, and also he's not a top 50 rated player. Jonathan Taylor also is not a top 50 rated player in PPR. In half PPR, actually in standard points leagues, he is. I think in half PPR he is as well, but he's not in full PPR, so he's not a great choice. But David Johnson does score well here, and he is a long shot for the next round. I think we definitely need to get him on the queue. So let's put Bell and Johnson on the queue as potential fourth round gets. So that's what we're going to do. So let me go to running backs, and we've got Gurley and Johnson and Bell. Oh, and so we'll put Gurley on there too, because Gurley, as a third round pick, he rates very well. Let's see here. Gurley, 44 points. He's a perfect choice for the third round. So he's good as well. Let's look at the wide receivers also. We've already got, we already see on the list here, Woods, Ridley, Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, Juju Smith-Schuster, all these guys score 40 points or more. So they're all good choices. Woods is one of my personal favorites. I like him. Woods and Ridley. Let's definitely put Woods and Ridley on the queue. Oh, and it's almost back to us. This is great. So let me just go to the wide receivers real quick. And we can go Woods and Ridley. Where's Ridley? Okay, so Chris Carson did make it back to us. Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. So that's what we were hoping for, is that he would make it to us on a long shot. So let's go ahead and take Carson. I love that. So we got Drake and Carson as our running backs. We got Julio Jones as our wide receiver 1. So we're doing really good here. I would love it if one of these running backs makes it to us in the fourth round. That would be key to the success of this strategy, to get ourselves 6 top 50 value players. So, David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell are long shots. The other running backs, though, Akers, Fournette, Ingram, and Swift, do not offer good value here. They're very, very poor for value because of the nature of PPR. It pulls their value rating down. So that's why I like to go so heavy on running backs, is because of that. Because after the third round, man, it just peters out like crazy. So I'm going to stay away from those guys. Let's look at the wide receivers, though. There's great wide receivers in the fourth round. One of my favorites right now, DJ Chark, who I think is just outstanding upside this year on that offense. Now that Fournette isn't there, when they dropped Fournette, that meant some additional targets went Chark's way. He's got a great connection with Minshew. Really, those two are awesome together. So I really, really like that. So let's definitely get Chark on there. Cooper Kupp is a long shot to make it to us. We can put him on too. And then there's, let's see, we've got Metcalf, we've got Allen, we've got Terry McLaurin, who scores 39 Vork points. That's close enough for me. Let's get all these guys on the queue. So, Chark, Kupp, and Metcalf. Let's go back to players. Chark. All right, where are you, Chark? There he is. Chark and Cup and Metcalf and Allen and McLaurin. Allen and McLaurin. Where is McLaurin? How am I not seeing him? Oh, there he is. He's way there. He's way up there. Okay, great. So look, our queue, the cup runneth over on the queue. Look at all these guys we got queued up right now. This is going to take so much stress off of you on draft day to know what players are still on the board when it gets to your pick, so you don't get surprised, and you don't get shocked. And look, all three of our running backs are still on the board. We've got 6 picks to go till us. So there's a good chance that one of them will make it to us, and that'll get us our third running back, which I think is outstanding. We can look at tight ends this round. You can see Zach Ertz is a great choice as a reach here. He scores over 40. Let's put Ertz on the queue for sure. Let's see here. Ertz, yeah. And I think we're good right now. So let's see what's going on the draft. So since we took our pick of where were we? We took Chris Carson. Okay, so since our pick, what happened was Mike Evans came off, then Jonathan Taylor, then DJ Moore, AJ Brown, Odell Beckham, Mark Ingram, and then Todd Gurley came off. So one of our picks came off. Juju Smith-Schuster. So now it's 4 more picks back to us. And I just hope that David Johnson makes it to us. That would be great. Again, the reason why I like to go running back is because you really are taking a chance in the 4th round with one of those top 50 running backs still being available. So it's just one of those things that is you're really taking a chance on. And what I like to say is the later your pick, the easier it is to get one of those running backs in the 4th round. If you're picking 11th, that means you get an early 4th round pick, or 12th. So, I would much rather be here to get my third running back, my third top 50 running back, as opposed to where I am now, which is in the middle of the draft board. And as you can see, we're biting our nails, seeing if it's going to happen. And we can also look at the board to see where. So David Johnson's pretty deep on the board. So I think we got a good chance that he will make it. And so is Bell, although really I don't want Bell. I really would prefer to have David Johnson. So we're doing good. Okay, so it came to us. Great. Oh, darn it. Of course, David Johnson got taken. See, this is the risk. But, Le'Veon Bell, he does offer top 50 value. I mean, if we look at the, not top 50, 52. That's close enough for me, all right? And he is going to be a prolific pass catcher, which is perfect for PPR. So I think he's going to be okay for a PPR league, taking him as our third running back. I'm not thrilled with it. I would have rather had David Johnson, but I can live with Le'Veon Bell. I think that's fine. So now let's go to the 5th round and see what we're looking at. Now in the 5th round, the running backs, again, no one with top 50 value. Kareem Hunt, 69th. Singletary, 68th. Raheem Mostert, 101st. David Montgomery, 78th. So there's no good value here. This is why you got to go early on the running backs. But let's go to the wide receivers, and there are some good wide receiver options. Cortland Sutton, Michael Gallup are both being recommended here. Cortland Sutton offers top 50 value. Michael Gallup does not. You can see Metcalf, Allen, and Tyler Lockett are all long shots. They are all top 50 value. Stephon Diggs is over top 50. T.Y. Hilton's the only other player that offers top 50 value here, but I do love Sutton. So let's go to my wide receivers, and there is Sutton, and who else do we want to? Let's put Gallup on the list too. Gallup's right there, and Gallup's another guy that's just outside the top 50, but not bad, 51. And like I said, I'm perfectly happy to get the guy ranked 51st overall as part of the strategy, as part of the Dominator strategy. Certainly, Cortland Sutton offers the best value at this point. But we are going to go and let's look at the draft results. Let's see what's happening here. As you can see, we got tons of wide receivers on our queue right now. And, if Chark or Metcalf makes it to us, if Chark makes it to us, that would be great. Woods is also a great option. So since our pick of Le'Veon Bell, wait a minute, what happened here? Oh, I'm sorry, it's going the other way. Yeah, that's right. David Johnson was taken, and then we took Le'Veon Bell, and then Cam Akers came off. Then Tyler Lockett, Calvin Ridley, Cooper Kupp. Again, all guys that are top 50 value. Raheem Mostert comes off at the end of the 4th round. DJ Chark, that's too bad. I was really hoping he'd make it back to us. Zach Ertz, the tight end, came off in the 5th round. Again, the app was telling us if you want Zach Ertz, you should probably take him in the 4th round, but we didn't. We chose to pass on him. That's okay. We'll get ourselves another tight end. So we've got 3 more picks to us. So we're in good shape. We got Woods would be my top choice here. If we're looking in the 5th round, Woods we'd have to restore back onto the list. You can just restore or remove player down at the bottom. You restore him on the list. Robert Woods scores 90 Vork points in the 5th round. That his value rank 20th overall in PPR leagues. That is an astounding value. And to pair him up with Julio Jones, I will just be as happy as can be with this running back core. I mean, it's just a rock solid running back core. So it looks like T.Y. Hilton came off, 2 picks to us. And if we look at the players, let's just look at where everybody is. So there's a bunch of people in front of all my running backs. So, there's Sutton, there's Metcalf, Keenan Allen, Robert Woods. They're all right there. So, but here at pick 54, and this is something about Yahoo also, Woods is going later on the Yahoo Draft Board. So, take advantage of that. And normally you'd have to take him in the 4th round. But here, getting him in the 5th, I think that's great. So let's go to the 6th round. And I'm going to tell you right now, my go-to top 50 player for the 6th round is Mr. Jarvis Landry. Value rank is 35th. We're going to be at pick 67. He will most likely be available on the board at that point. So he is absolutely on our list. You can also see Tyler Boyd is right here. His value is 53rd. So again, just outside the top 50, but very, very close. Let's put both Landry and Boyd on the queue. So we will go back to players, wide receivers, and we will go Landry, and Boyd is right there. And what's going to happen here in the end is we're going to have ourselves 6 players with value in the top 52. That's great. That is such an astounding advantage. Most teams are only going to have 4 top 50 players, top 50 value players. So if you have 6, you've got a massive advantage over all of your opponents doing that. And in this case, we're going to have, in most leagues, you got 2 running back slots, 2 wide receiver slots, and a flex. So we can only start 5, which means we're going to have one of these top 50 value players sitting on our bench. That is an awesome depth play. That is absolutely what you want to have on your team. Now, if you want to be more aggressive, I do have an aggressive variant on this strategy that I talk about in one of my other podcasts, where you go in the 2nd round and get yourself one of the elite tight ends, right? You go get yourself Kittle or Kelsey. And in PPR, you could also get Ertz in the 4th round. But by doing that, then you actually have 6 players that you could start. And that is also a very devastatingly strong strategy to have. The risk is you miss on that 3rd running back. And that's, you got to kind of weigh those things against each other. So it's something to consider. But it's absolutely a viable strategy. And if it works out for you, you will have a dominating team. So let's look at the draft board to see what happened since we took Woods. So after Woods came Kareem Hunt, then Dak Prescott. So we've got 5 quarterbacks now that have come off the board. Dak Prescott came off, then Tyler Higbee, then Ronald Jones, then Kyler Murray came off at the end of the 5th. Cortland Sutton, who's one of my favorites, again, came off at the end of the 5th. DK Metcalf, beginning of the 6th. That is an awesome pair. Oh, man. To get that at the 5th, 6th turn like that, that's really, really good. So I very much like that pairing because I have Sutton. Sutton is my wide receiver 13. And Metcalf is like my wide receiver 20. So you got 2 rock solid 2s, and I think Sutton has 1 upside. So, Cortland could easily move into the wide receiver 1 conversation this year. Jordan Howard, Deshaun Watson. So another quarterback comes off. So we got a real run on quarterbacks happening here. In 12-team leagues, I like to be the last person in my league to draft a quarterback. And I'll tell you who I'm targeting right now is Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady. They're easy to get. You can get them in like the 9th or 10th round, maybe even later. And look, Matt Ryan just came off. So yeah, everybody's taking all these early quarterbacks. But I got to tell you, man, the valuation difference between like the fourth best quarterback and the 12th best quarterback is only a couple of points a week. It's not that much. Unless you get one of the elites, the Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, maybe Kyler Murray this year, or Deshaun Watson is one that still rates very highly for my app. You're better off just to wait as long as you can. Build up your other positions, get these other positions filled, and then come back and get yourself a quarterback at the end. Okay, so Gallup did get taken, but look, Landry's still there. Again, top 35 value in the 6th round. He's one that you just cannot pass up. And just an amazing depth play. Look at how great our wide receivers are. Julio, Woods, and Landry. That is a rock-solid trifecta if I've ever seen one. So I love that. And again, even though I'm less than thrilled with having Le'Veon Bell, he's perfectly good for PPR. He's going to catch like 60 passes this year at a minimum. So I think he's very good. Chris Carson, rock solid. Kenyon Drake, great PPR. Kenyon Drake and Le'Veon Bell are both great PPR running backs. So that's what we're going for. So all my favorite quarterbacks have come off the board now. So I always like to say at the 7th, kind of assess where the quarterbacks are. And if Matt Ryan or better is still available, take them. But otherwise, just wait. So we could absolutely look at tight ends for the 7th round. And if we look at who's still on the board, let's take a look here. So tight ends. So there's look, Darren Waller is still on the board. That is unbelievable. Let's go to the tight ends list here. Waller, let's restore him. Waller scores 64 Vork points in the 7th round. If we can get him in the 7th, that would be a coup d'etat, man. I mean, that would be absolutely amazing. Who else is still on the board? Let's see. Other tight ends. Evan Ingram, and Hayden Hurst is the other one who I really, really like. And in the 7th round, Hayden Hurst only scores 30 Vork points, but he's a breakout candidate, so I really like his upside on that offense. So I think either of those guys would be great as a 7th round pick. And you can see they're both long shots to make it to us, but I'm thinking looking at the board right now, I think we got a good chance to get one of them because of all the quarterbacks that were taken. So that's really good for us. Let's look at some of the other positions here and see who ranks. Not a lot of great wide receivers here. There's Will Fuller if we want to really roll the dice on a contract year player in a great position on Houston. I really like Fuller's upside. That's why I got him tagged as a breakout. But again, low reliability, low consistency. He is a roll the dice player. Now he's really a good choice as a 4th. So why not? Let's just put him on. I mean, again, if he falls to a later round, we could definitely consider him. So where is Fuller? Oh, is he already gone? Let's see. Yeah, Fuller's already been taken. That's nuts. I wouldn't take him that early. But, okay, then let's look at the running backs. Any good running backs this round? So we got no one scores over 40. Look at that. Philip Lindsay scores pretty well, 35 Vork points, and he's a reach. So let's put him on the queue. Tariq Cohen, Matt Breida, these guys are all reaches. Certainly Cohen and Lindsay would probably be worth a pick. But look, Waller did make it to us in the 7th round. This only happens on Yahoo, guys. It only happens on Yahoo. Take advantage of that. Waller's a top 5 tight end. So that is just an unbelievable steal at that point. So we've already got our 7th round pick. Let's go to the 8th round. And we're only going to go to 10 today. So 8th round, who's it recommending? Jamison Crowder, Christian Kirk, Philip Lindsay. So we got a couple wide receivers. I really don't need any more wide receivers right now. Let's definitely work on the running backs. And if we look at the running backs, we got Lindsay, Cohen. Lindsay and Cohen both score over 40 Vork points. So I think they're both good choices here. So let's go to the running backs. And we can see who else is on the board too. Oh, look at that. Zach Moss. There's Antonio Gibson. There's Lindsay. There's Cohen. Gibson obviously is a big speculative play right now because they cut Peterson. That's what I was told this morning. And let's see here, David Montgomery. He's questionable. He's dealing with some health issues. White's always a great choice for PPR, but I don't like taking any New England running back before pick 100. And we're going to be at pick 91. So if he made it to the next round, I'd consider him. Let's put him on the queue. He probably won't though. Let's see here. Who else is on the board here? So you got other players like Matt Breida, Kenyon Drake, Ronald Jones, Tevin Coleman, Antonio Gibson. These guys don't score very well here. That's the issue. Their value just isn't that good. Kerryon Johnson's is good. He's a reach for the next round. We could put him on the queue because he'll be better on the next round for value. Matt Breida also would be good. His value is just not great. Kerryon Johnson. Let's put Kerryon Johnson on the queue as well. There he is. Okay. So let's see what's going on the draft results. Let's go. Let's look what's going on. So after we took Waller, look at that. Someone took Tom Brady early. Oh, what a jerk. We might want to take our quarterback here because now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 10 teams. Only one other team has not taken a quarterback yet. That means we could probably wait. I'm going to wait till the 9th round to take the quarterback. And we'll see what we get there. But you can see Lindsey, Cohen, White, Kerryon Johnson are all still available. I do like Lindsey here with our 8th round pick. And you can also see here's where the auto pick starts to take over and does all the defenses. That's why I don't like mock drafting on Yahoo, is because of this stupid algorithm. Because right after, in the 9th round, it's going to be all kickers. And all that does is that creates an advantage for us because players are available later than you think they were. And so... so there's going to be a ton of players that are still sitting on the board, by the time it comes to the 10th round that shouldn't be there because nobody's going to take that many defenses and kickers that early. So, but you can see there's still a bunch of great players. There's Matthew Stafford right there. Let's put him on our queue. And, Deontay Johnson is one who I like, but he's been dealing with injuries right now, so he's kind of off my list. It looks like David Montgomery has slipped down the board as well because of his injury issues. He might be worth a consideration here this late because, David Montgomery, if we restored him to the list, let's see here, because he should have already been gone. Montgomery, well, he scores 34 points. Oh, that's the 8th round. Let's go to the 9th round because that's where we're heading into now, right? Isn't it? Yeah, 9th round. Okay, so let's get Montgomery. Okay, so David Montgomery scores 45 Vork points in the 9th round. So that is, I think he's a good choice. He's injured right now, doesn't have a great outlook because of that. But, he would be our 5th running back. So it's a depth play. And once he comes in, the volume is there, man. It's a rock solid volume. So that might be worth it. Oh, it looks like he came off the board already, so that doesn't matter. But let's see here. Who else do we have for the 9th round? Anyone else of note? Sterling Shepard, I saw that he already came off the board. Jamison Crowder's a good choice. John Brown, Preston Williams. Crowder, Brown, and Williams are also very good here. So let's go to wide receivers. And there's Crowder. There's Brown. And then Preston Williams is like buried. There he is. We could probably wait on Preston Williams and take him in a later round. But here we are. We're past pick 100. So let's look at the draft results. So look, you can see here, look at all the defenses coming off the board. After us, so we took Phillip Lindsay, and then it was Gibson, Tucker, Montgomery, Breeze, James White closed out the 8th round. Beginning of the 9th round, you got Minnesota, then Tevin Coleman. It's 3 picks to us. Certainly this would probably be the time to take our quarterback, but I think we can push it to 10. I think we're going to push it to 10 just because every other team has a quarterback now, right? Every other team has their quarterback. So no one needs a quarterback right now. So I will just wait and take advantage of the situation because we don't need to hurry to take a quarterback right now. Everybody's got one. They're not going to need a second one. They're going to be building up other parts of their team. So who is still on our board? So we got Cohen, Kerryon Johnson, Matthew Stafford, Jameson Crowder, John Brown, Preston Williams. Let's definitely get ourselves another running back here. We really need to beef up that position. Cohen and Kerryon Johnson. Let's see if we look at running backs in the 9th round. Kerryon Johnson doesn't score great, and Tariq Cohen does. So let's take Cohen. I hear you. Okay, so we got Cohen. Great PPR play. That's what we're looking at there. So that's very good. And then for the 10th round, like I said, let's get our quarterback. We'll get Stafford. And if we happen to miss on Stafford, the player I would take is probably Daniel Jones. just because I really like the upside of him and that offense. Ben Roethlisberger is probably a solid play, but I consider him very risky due to his age. And, he's looking great in camp, but guess what? He hasn't been hit yet. And he hasn't been driven to the ground yet with that rebuilt elbow of his on his throwing arm. So I'm just very nervous about the whole situation with the Steelers. And while I am willing to take Steelers late in drafts, I'm not real willing to take them early on. So, that's where I'm at with that. So let's see here. Let's look for the 10th round. Let's look at what other players on the 10th round that we like. So in the 10th round for running backs, Boston Scott is a good choice. So let's put him on the queue. Let's go to running backs. Boston Scott's right there. And for wide receivers, we already have John Brown on the queue. Then there's none of the other guys score over 40. So we got Slayton, Sanders, Lamb, and Miller. None of those guys score great. The best value would probably be Emmanuel Sanders. But again, I just don't like his outlook. Again, he's a wide receiver over the age of 30. And those guys, they just don't offer any upside. And we took Julio Jones, who's a great player who's playing at a great plateau, a very high level of plateau, but every year it's going to get a little bit lower. And that's just where he's at this point in the career. That's what's going to happen. And I really prefer to draft players with upside. And the reason I took Julio is because he offered great value at the point that we got him, a top 6 value player in PPR who's going to catch a ton of passes. That's what you want. You take advantage of the situation as far as what the point schedule gives you, and to get a high volume receiver like that is great that late, because he's usually gone by like the 14th or 15th pick. So that was just a steal. So let's look at the board here. And you can see, did someone take, look at that. Someone did take Stafford. I can't. Why would they take Stafford? They already had Lamar Jackson. See, that's probably auto-picked. It clearly is. Look, it went San Francisco and then the kicker and then Stafford, and someone just took Roethlisberger. So I think that narrows it down, man. We are going with Daniel Jones. Where's Daniel Jones? He's right there. I don't know why I didn't have him on the queue. There we go. I thought I put him on the queue. So Daniel Jones is our quarterback, and that's it. That's for 10. So let's review the team. So our quarterback is Daniel Jones. Wide receivers, Julio Jones and Robert Woods. That's outstanding. I love that pair. Running backs, Kenyon Drake, Chris Carson, Le'Veon Bell. Our tight end is Darren Waller. Again, a fantastic value pick. And our bench, having Landry on our bench is outstanding. And then we got Lindsey and Cohen as backup running backs. I love it. I think this is a great team. So that's how you do it, man. So just remember, like I said, if you are using my app in a Yahoo Draft, it's PPR, you got to go into the app and then select the league point schedule, and you got to click on the PPR and then select Yahoo PPR Draft. That's very important to get the list in the right order. Otherwise, you are going to be at a disadvantage, because it's going to give you the PPR list, and those players are in a different order than what we saw today on this board. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And that's it. So thank you very much, everybody. I got a real draft happening tomorrow. I'm super excited, an FFPC draft, so I'm really thrilled about that. I will be recording that and putting that up on the page as well, so you can see how I operate in an actual live draft in a high-stakes league. It matters a ton. And like I say, man, in fantasy football, success in fantasy football is 50% the draft. It's 30% managing your team during the season, and it's 20% good old-fashioned luck. You're not going to do well if you don't have a good draft. So utilize my app and do it. Have a great draft. So good luck, everybody. And this is Jimmy. I'll talk to you soon.